Studio Hockey is bringing you a podcast series ahead of the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games. Talking Tokyo will feature top players from all teams. We will match up talks between a player from each team who will play each other in the opening game in Tokyo. My name is Ernst Baert. Welcome to Talking Tokyo. July 24 is the day the Tokyo Games get underway. So until then, on the 24th of every month, we will present to you a new episode of Talking Tokyo to get you in the mood. Hockey in Tokyo starts on the 25th of July, and one of the games of this opening day will be a certain Great Britain versus South Africa. That's why we asked Adam Dixon, the current GB captain, and Austin Smith, a former captain of South Africa, to join us in Talking Tokyo. Austin Smith is a defender, aged 34, who made his debut for South Africa when he was just 18. After a couple of years at Reading in England, he now plays his club hockey for Den Bosch in the Dutch Hoofdklasse. He played 3 World Cups between 2010 and 2018, and Tokyo will be his 3rd Olympic Games. Adam Dixon, aged 33, captains the GB squad. Originally from Beeston, he also played a year at Rotterdam in the Dutch Hoofdklasse before returning to Beeston in England. Adam too played 3 World Cups, and Tokyo will be his 2nd Olympic Games. First question, and I always like to start with a why question, because you're both in your 30s, grown men, supposed to be grown men maybe.
Sometimes.
Sometimes. The question is, why do you play hockey? You're in your 30s, haven't you got anything better to do with your life? Why do you play hockey? Austin.
Okay.
Austin first. Basically just because I think it's a fun sport. I've said to quite a lot of our guys in our team, I'm actually quite looking forward to the day that I'm not playing hockey semi-professionally or for my country, that I can just play hockey for the fun with some mates on the weekend, because those are probably still the best memories that I have of hockey. Why am I still playing with the national side and semi-professionally at a club level? Because I still get a real kick out of testing myself against the best in the world and playing alongside your teammates in the green and gold. It still feels special, and I still feel nervous every time I go out on the field. So as long as I've got that feeling, I said to our coach that I want to keep on doing it.
Mm-hmm. Adam?
Very similar to the reasons that Austin's outlined, but I think for me, one of the most important things is that sort of sense of belonging to a team. I think it's very easy to, as a junior, to get into hockey and you don't really know why you're there to begin with. You're just enjoying sort of learning and growing as an athlete. But I think as you get a little bit older, you start to appreciate the moments away from the pitch and the really tough times on the pitch, where together as a group of men or women, you're striving towards something. I think there's nothing else really like it. Team sport is really powerful, and that's what's kept me going to the age of 33.
But fully agree. But that would be the same if you were playing. Well, you're both Anglo-Saxons, rugby, cricket, whatever. It's a team sport. Why hockey?
Hockey for me, well, I played a little bit of every sport growing up. I think that's really important. So football was really, really important to me. Cricket, not so much rugby, being a little guy, but I tried everything. But for me, hockey was in the family. My dad played, so there was the obvious connection there. My brothers started playing, and I just thought there was the skill level required was just something that I wasn't finding in other sports, and it probably helped that I was better at hockey than the other sports, and that's the reason why I continued. But there was something about the skill level, the level of technical skills that are required for the sport. It just really struck a chord with me, and I'm seeing the game progress at a scary rate. The skills that are being shown these days. But yeah, I just think hockey's a fast, exciting, skillful sport.
I'm wondering, Adam, if our dads actually played against each other. My dad also played in England. He grew up there.
Oh, really?
I was wondering if they actually played against each other. That would
that
be
would be amazing. Probably, I don't think, or I hope my dad's not listening to this, but he didn't play at the best level. But he was club captain of our local team. So
yeah, then they could well have ended up playing against. So maybe some county stuff they could have played against one another.
The hockey world is very small.
Yeah.
It is. It's a small family. Austin, why hockey for you? Why not rugby, for instance?
I think the obvious answer is that I didn't ever go to a school that offered rugby. I did play a lot of football up until I was about 15, and because of my late growth spurt, although it was never a huge growth spurt, at age 15 though I was absolutely tiny and I was getting killed on the football field. And hockey, it seemed a bit easier on the hockey field to maneuver myself around, being the smallest of the group. So I think that probably played a part in it. And then again, a lot like Adam, my whole family was involved with hockey, so it felt like I kind of grew up watching my older brothers and sisters and my dad on the side of the hockey field. So yeah, it was just natural. And then from that age, all my friends were playing hockey. Our school was a good hockey school, so that just seemed normal, really.
Mm-hmm. What sport would you have played if hockey was not an option? And would you be any good at that sport as well?
I'd like to think I was a decent passer of the football, pretty much how I play my hockey. Nothing flashy, not really any decent skills, just trap and pass, and that's what I used to do on the football field. So probably would have been something like that, just like a little drop centre mid on the football field, passing the ball to the skillful guys up front.
Paul Scholes.
Yeah, there we are.
Well, not a bad one. Not a bad one. Adam, you. What sport would have been for yours?
Yeah, I think also would have been football. I played very seriously until I was about 15 years old. Juggling every single evening of the week, hockey, football, cricket. Everything was being thrown in. But I played. I had a trial at Nottingham Forest Football Club, which didn't work out, but that was sort of the level I was aspiring to be at. So yeah, I would have been very similar, just not flashy, not skillful, just appreciate spreading the ball around with good tempo and chipping in with a goal every now and then. But yeah, football would have been my sport.
Yeah. Who has been the most influential for you guys to become the player that you are today, Adam?
Oh, put me on the spot.
Yep.
there are loads, to be honest. I've already spoken about him. Probably my father. He, like I said, he was the guy who introduced me into the sport. He dedicated a significant part, and still does, dedicate a significant part of his life to pursuing me and developing my career. Not that he's not a pushy father. He doesn't give me lots of advice. He gives me the space to sort of find the answers to my own questions. But the amount of time that he's given to travel around the country, driving me to training sessions, to national trainings, I could never repay that debt. So yeah, there's always a little bit of me when we're out on the pitch before an international game, singing the national anthem. There's, I sort of picture my dad, my family, those sorts of things. So it's quite nice to have that connection.
Almost bringing tears to my eyes, Adam. Austin, what's your most influential person who brought you to hockey?
Yeah, before I go on to the most influential person, a question for Adam. Has your dad, though, ever gone up to the coach and asked him if he was going to go back to the drawing board after a game?
Oh, no, I'd quite like to hear this story. But no, I don't think my dad's not one of those types. But
While you were saying that, you said your dad's not a pushy dad. And my dad isn't pushy either. He's just there and he's supportive. And my mum and dad are always at the games, which is great. But my dad sometimes feels like when there's a lull in the conversation that he should just say something. And it happened to be when he was standing next to the coach after the recent Commonwealth Games in Gold Coast. And we'd just been thumped by New Zealand. And he said, I think that was our opening game. And he just turned to the coach and said, Well, Mark, obviously, back to the drawing board then, hey? And our coach, it was his first tournament, and he was like, "Who the heck is this bloke telling me I need to go back to the drawing board?" So he replied with quite a serious answer, like, "No, we're gonna stick it out. We've got a plan. It's a long-term plan." And my dad was like, "Oh, okay." I was so grateful that our coach didn't. He brought it up in a team meeting, but didn't say who it was. He said, "Yeah, well, someone thought that we'd have to go back to the drawing board after today's result, but we're going to stick at it." And I was so grateful that he didn't mention my dad's name.
That's brilliant.
So luckily, I got a text from my mom warning me that something like this may be coming my way.
that will always embarrass their sons. It's our job in life.
It's a funny moment to look back on now. But growing up, I had one clear role model and someone who has meant a lot to my hockey development. And I was lucky enough to have a hockey Olympian, as my primary school teacher in standard 5. What's that? Like your last year of primary school, 12, 13 years old.
Uh-huh.
And he had just come back from the Atlanta Olympics. And I can still remember how wide open my eyes were when he was telling us stories. Yeah, and to be honest, probably mostly stories about getting all this free kit and everything in the village is free. And I think those, as a kid, Adam, I'm sure you can agree that's pretty
definitely
exciting as a kid. If you imagine unlimited free kit, I still get excited now when one of my sponsors send me a box of free stuff. So yeah, he was a great role model, just the kind of person that he was, and the time that he invested in us as little junior players. And I thought, sure, from that day on, I thought, well, I want to be like Mr. Murray Anderson, or Mr. Anderson back then. I still feel strange calling him by his first name, because he's still, Mr. Anderson, my teacher. But yeah, hearing all those stories made me really long to compete in Olympic Games and experience some of those things that he spoke about.
I'll definitely link some of my early experiences in hockey back to school. I think probably much like South Africa, England has quite a strong school competitive structure. But I had probably the opposite end of the spectrum, whereas Austin had an Olympian as a primary school hockey coach. I had a guy who just played a few times at university, but what he managed, he basically managed to take the school football team, and because he knew they were talented athletes, and he put a hockey stick in their hand, and then he added me as a youngster into that group, and actually within 12, 18 months, we were competing against some of the best schools in the country, and we were a small state school, and we were playing.
He made an impact,
a huge impact. But what he managed to do, like his whole ethos was about enjoyment and bringing people together and having fun. And what we could then achieve against, we were the underdogs going against some of these big schools, and we really embraced that. So it was school sport. I think in England is huge for hockey. There's a lot of growth still available in that area.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What challenges did you have to overcome to become the hockey player that you are today, Austin?
Sure, the same challenges that we're facing now, financial ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, that has been, we're discussing that with my parents 2 weeks ago when we were down in South Africa, actually. Yeah. We were discussing, I think it was probably for the best that we didn't ever keep a running total of what we've had to put in to kind of keep my hockey career alive. Fortunately, with the Hockey India League in the past few years and playing in Europe, I've been able to take those financial burdens on myself. But certainly leading up to my debut and my first few years of international hockey, that was a real challenge. But yeah, getting out of South Africa for me was probably the most difficult thing that I had to do and the biggest challenge that I had to overcome. I was a bit of a mummy's boy, a family guy, and yeah, for me moving overseas, or first to England, where I played at Reading, that was really daunting, and I find that really, really overwhelming. And then coming to the Netherlands again was another big step that wasn't easy. But I think, going through those kind of challenges definitely tests you in a way that nothing else can. Being on your own and having to work things out on your own, and the pressure of of just getting through the day-to-day things makes you a stronger person, and ultimately I think that's helped me on the field as well to go through those tough moments, because I'm sure Adam will agree that everyone goes through tough moments, and it needs a strong character to get through them.
Yeah.
Adam, what were your challenges?
I definitely agree with Austin. You learn so much from challenges, mistakes, however they sort of come about in your life. That's where there's real growth. And I think for me, what's probably stood out over my career is the times when you haven't been selected and you really feel that you deserve a spot on the team. So the obvious one for me was 2012 London Olympics. On home soil.
Yeah.
The whole nation's been going crazy about the Olympics for 4 years. It's on the TV every 2 seconds. Every advert in the commercials is all about the Olympics. And for me, I was from 2009 until 2012. I was a firm fixture in that England and Great Britain team. There wasn't one tournament that I missed. And then to find out at the very last hurdle, the pinnacle of every hockey player's career is the Olympics. That's pretty obvious. So for me, this pipe dream that I'd had for the last 20 odd years, to see that sort of slowly disappearing away from me very quickly disappearing away from me was a tough one to take. And there was no doubt a lot of soul searching that went on in those few weeks after selection and whilst the games were going on, as to
But what did you do to overcome that?
Well,
you fought your way back into the squad.
Absolutely, yeah. I think there was the sort of catastrophizing stage of that process, thinking, oh gosh, why am I doing this? Do I really want to be playing hockey anymore? I think that's all quite natural. But for me, it still was the goal. So there was no way when I started training again at the end of 2012, I think there was a Champions Trophy that, I was going to do absolutely everything day to day that would have made sure that I was on the plane to Rio, and that did happen. But there was there was real fire and a desire to make that work. But that's probably the biggest challenge I've faced.
Can you still remember the announcement? I'm interested to know how you guys do these announcements.
It was on that particular occasion we had a phone call from the coach. There's so many ways, and I think it's a really sensitive part of any team, and the dynamics can shift massively around selection and the weeks leading up to it. But we decided that everybody would originally have a face-to-face meeting, and just because of how I was living in Nottingham, which is sort of in the middle of England, and we were training at Bisham Abbey in the south, and we had a training camp that finished early. And so rather than staying for a face-to-face meeting, which was going to mean staying around Bisham for another 4 or 5 hours, I said to the coach, I'm going to go home, just give me a call. And
you knew it was coming, or
a little bit. But I wish I'd maybe made it a little bit harder for him, have a face-to-face meeting and do it the tough way. But that was certainly a lesson to learn.
I can remember that moment well, that not being selected and the coach phoning, hi Austin, this is not the phone call that you're hoping for. And then immediately you almost don't even hear what else he says, because now you're like, well, I'm not even really that interested in what the reason is right now. I'm just disappointed that I'm not selected. But I can remember those phone calls. Tough.
Now, Austin, for you had quite a different challenge ahead of Rio when you guys were qualified to play Rio, basically according to the FIH, but were not allowed by your own country's Olympic association to go to Rio. How do you surmount such a challenge, such a adversity?
Yeah, that was a tricky moment. Everyone in our squad and our team had an uneasy feeling that even when we had qualified, there weren't really huge celebrations, because we had heard that our Olympic Association, SASCOC, were expecting us to have done better throughout the 2-year build-up. So we weren't hugely surprised, but we were of course incredibly disappointed. And I think I think the most frustrating part out of all of that was trying to explain to everyone else in the country and the world why we weren't going. But everyone's like, yeah, but you've qualified. Like, yeah, I know we have qualified, but our Olympic Association aren't letting us go for this and this reason. And I think that was also tough to deal with when you don't know the exact reason. There were so many rumors that came out that no one was really exactly sure what the reason was. So when it came to qualifying for these upcoming Tokyo Olympics, no one was really sure. Well, we don't really know what we did wrong the last time. So how are we going to make sure that we qualify and actually be allowed to go this time? So there's a part of me even now, even though they have said formally that we're going and we've been put into the pools, there's still a 1% that's a little bit nervous that somehow things are going to change in the next few months. But I really hope that isn't the case. I hope we will still be playing against each other in the game, Adam.
I was just interested, as captain, how do you sort of manage the players? And that must be really tricky and quite a unique situation.
Yeah, that was tricky when I was captain, but fortunately now that's Tim Drummond's responsibility.
No,
but as captain leading up to Rio, yeah, that was really tough. And to see the number of players that actually just become so disheartened that they decided to hang the boots up and call it a day, when I think a lot of those players could definitely have gone on and played at these upcoming Tokyo Olympics. So that for me was really
So what
sad.
did you make you go through after this debacle?
I kind of decided that while I was still playing serious hockey in Europe, and I was still enjoying playing with the national team, despite all the financial implications and despite some of the nonsense that happens in the background, when I'm there on tour with the guys or at a training camp, and we're all giving it our all, like despite the fact that we're coming up against top opposition and win or lose. When we're with our team, we have a great dynamic within our team. We've got so many different backgrounds and so many different types of people. It's still a heck of a lot of fun. So being there together still compensates for all the tricky parts that come along with playing for our side sometimes.
Okay, guys, you're both senior players. Let's put it nicely at the moment. But so at this moment in your career, it's also about teaching the young guys entering in your team what's all about, how to prepare for these kinds of events and stuff like that. But what was the most important lesson you learned yourself as a younger athlete from another player? So not from a coach, not from your parents, but from another player. And why? What did you do with it, Adam?
Okay, I've got a couple of things. I know one thing that's maybe not really spoken about so much is just the detail that's required around nutrition. So eating and drinking, right? What that takes to be an athlete, especially when you're at an Olympic Games or you're in a heavy training phase, making sure that you're fueling your body in a way that's not going to mean that you're falling ill or you're training below suboptimal level. So for me, that was. There's a guy called Alistair Wilson, who played a lot of times for England and Great Britain, retired after London Olympics, having been to Beijing and London. But he was, as far as athletes go, he was probably one of the best guys, physically strong, had a real engine on him as well. And I used to train with him day in, day out. So it wasn't necessarily he was telling me, do this, do that. He was showing me through just being a role model, really. But he was also quite nice because he was one of my best friends. So it wasn't over the top. You must do this. It was just being a good role model, which I think is sort of what I take. It's sort of my leadership style now. It's not about screaming and shouting and demanding this and demanding that. But if you set the bar of expectation in your own behaviors and your own standards, that people then do follow. Now, there are times when you need to give someone a bit of a kick up the arse, but if you can, just be a good role model, I think that helps.
Austin?
I think one of the things that I learned as a younger player, which I never really understood from playing at school, the style that we had at school was like warm up, was no talking in the warm up, in 2 rows warming up. Everything was super serious in and around the hockey. And when I got to the national team, a few players told me, "No, Ozzy, you just need to lighten up a little bit, and when you get on the field, then you can be a little bit more serious, but you need to have a bit more fun in and around hockey." And that was something that I learned, and then I'm trying to get across to the junior players now, that we're in an environment that, you're not being paid to be there. You need to enjoy yourself most of all. But we have the concept of the white line mentality, that when you get on the field and you cross that sideline, or wherever you enter the field from, that's the time to really switch on and then be serious and focus on the hockey. But once we get off again, then we're going to have a good time together. And that's something that I really appreciate, the fact that someone took the time to explain that to me. I think that's probably kept me going for a lot longer than anything else, because I think if I carried on at the serious rate that I was going, I probably would have burnt out at age 25. So I think that's a good lesson for all juniors, to be able to be having a good time and enjoying their sport, but when you get on the field, that you really give it 100% concentration and go
Absolutely.
for it.
Why are you in your national team? How would you describe yourself as a player, and what is your added value to the team, Austin?
Well, pretty much just what I just said, actually. Funny that fits in well. That I think I'm now also not being captain, I can make a little bit more time for other players. I'd like to think that I've learned a few things over the years, that I can give some guys little tips here and there about how to navigate big tournaments, how to get around injuries, and little tips on nutrition. And I feel like guys are happy to come and ask me things. So I feel like I'm pretty approachable. But again, when I get on the field, I still really love beating the junior guys when it comes to sprint testing or any kind of fitness event. I still really like that. I really like to wind the guys up, especially at my club, the junior players. I've promised them that I'll retire once they can beat me at some of these little fitness tests that we do. So I think someone who can bring a little bit of extra experience, but someone can also show the guys that, hey, we're hockey players and we're playing on a national team, but we can still really enjoy the experience when we're off the field.
Adam, why has your coach selected you this time for Tokyo? Or will he select you for Tokyo?
Hopefully, yeah. I think I think you've matched me and Austin up quite well, because there's loads of comparables between the two of us. I think for me, it's just bringing an air of calm to any situation, if that's on the pitch or off the pitch. You'll give an on-pitch example. You've been, I don't know, under pressure for 2 or 3 minutes, defending lots in your circle, and I think playing in the middle of the pitch, whether it be in the midfield or at the back, I can just sort of, with my body language, be calm and confident, not be panicked, and I think that spreads across the team. So I think that's one of the reasons the coach likes having me in there. I think, also I think I'm just approachable to the young guys, the older guys, and just being, just enjoy being part of the group. And there's probably a few more things other than that. I'm quite modest. I don't like to blow my own trumpet, but they're the two things that stick out for me.
Okay, guys, how would you describe your opponent for this first game in Tokyo? So I'm talking about the team, not you as individuals, but so for Austin, how would you describe Great Britain, and who from the opponent would you want to have in your own team?
Well, obviously, I'd love to have Adam in my team. I've just heard all these wonderful things about him. And, sounds like a great.
Okay, other than Adam.
GB as a team, played GB quite a few times in the past. Not so many times in recent years, Adam. I don't think.
I'm trying to think the last time that would be.
Wow.
The
last game I remember is in London, and we played each other a few times leading up to that. But if I think of the GB team, I think of a team that's structurally really well organized, a good team. Good team on the ball. They have got good connections with each other. No like really flashy players, just a team playing well and connecting well with each other, and you know that they're going to be fit and working hard. So that'll be a challenge to overcome. I think their structural side of things, as opposed to individual players. One of the players that I know pretty well, having played alongside him, is Liam Ansell, who's a nice player. Specific players. Yeah, there'd be quite a few players in your team, Adam, who I would like to play alongside. A few who have played alongside it, actually, surprisingly enough. But I think it'll be unfair to pick anyone else specifically who I would want to have actually in our national team. You know, I don't think any of you guys. A few of our guys have English passports. Do any of you guys have South African passports? Would any of you even be eligible?
Don't think so. Sorry.
No, I don't. Yeah, I don't think there's that many people hoping to be able to get a visa to get into South Africa.
Adam, what's your take on South Africa as a team?
This could be interesting.
Well, it's been a while since, like Austin said, that we've played each other. My experiences of playing against South Africa have always been, they've been a tough battles, and I think you always come across a side who's very well prepared, technically, tactically, and physically. You know, I think when you boys are wearing those vests and you're flexing the muscles, there's something in that's, I think, to the opposition sometimes looks a bit daunting. Maybe not so much.
We may start sort of South African haka before we play that.
But yeah, there's I just think there's obviously there's that sort of background noise of the hardships that the whole team has had to come through on many occasions to get to where they are, and I think you can really sense that sort of togetherness as a team, and I think that's always dangerous. You see it so much in world hockey, where there's a top team, and there's just something behind the eyes of the opposition that just really mean that they want to go out and destroy the opposition. I think that's definitely a case for South African hockey. Thinking about players, there's been plenty of South Africans floating in and into the English leagues over the years. I don't know if he's going to be part of the group or not, but Guys Brown, GB, would he be part of the Tokyo selection?
Yeah, he was down at the recent series that we had.
Okay,
so,
he's going to be.
Who knows what the selection will hold.
Well,
I've got my fingers crossed for him.
I mean, another. So he's, as well as yourself, he's a huge corner threat. I think he's shown over the last 2 or 3 seasons in England that he's a goal machine when it comes to penalty corners. So we'll be watching out for him and his his selection. There's the Tim Drummond. I think he's been around for a long time, and he's going to be captaining that side. I think some of the guys who have had a bit of the Hockey India League experience. I know Spooner, he's been around. There's lots to worry about in that side, and we're going to have to be on our game one at the Olympics come July time. So it's going to be a spicy fixture. Let's say that.
Let's hope so. Let's hope so for the fans, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, guys, describe your road to Tokyo. So, how do you make sure that you will be at your best come July and August in Tokyo? Austin?
Yeah, quite a tricky lineup that we've got, because we haven't got a whole lot planned. Obviously, we're not a central-based training team, so we're not all in the same location. We've got a few guys scattered around Europe who are playing club hockey, which I think is still a good thing, even though we're not together. These guys are playing at a high level, so that's a pleasing aspect. As far as actual games together, we've just finished a recent training camp / series against the USA down in South Africa. We are about to play against Germany, which most of the European-based players won't be a part of. But that'll be a good test against a top 6 nation to kind of see where we are at the moment. And then there's a big gap between March and June. I think the next time we get together will be June for either just a training block in South Africa. There's discussions with another European nation to play some games over here in Europe. Obviously, that'll be funding dependent. And then right in the lead up to the games, we're going to be based in another province in Japan. I'm not sure exactly where we're going to be, but somewhere in Japan, and then we'll go straight from there into the village. So yeah, not a huge amount of games, which is a shame, but I think given the situation that we're in, it's a solid foundation. So we're really expecting a lot of players to do things on their own. There's going to be a lot of accountability, and I think given our last little phase that we had, I think everyone's bought into that, and I'm fairly confident that we'll arrive on time, ready for game one.
Okay, Adam, yours will be a completely different story with the central program at Beeston Abbey. What's your road to Tokyo?
Well, I think that the biggest difference between Great Britain and South Africa is going to be the Pro League fixtures, and that opportunity that provides us. So we're going to have a handful more games where it's not necessarily going to be all about winning, but building momentum through to the summer. I sometimes take that for granted. We're very lucky that we're A, centralised, and B, that we are involved in the Pro League. So we've got a short period now where there's not too much going on. We do a little bit of club hockey. We actually do have a trip to South Africa coming up next month, although we can't get any games against any. So Austin, if you know anyone in Den Bosch, please let us know. But we're obviously the heat and humidity in Tokyo is going to provide a very unique challenge. So just getting away from freezing cold England and being in some warm weather is going to be really valuable. So our recent trip to Australia and New Zealand, we actually spent a bit of time in Brisbane beforehand, which was more like or closer to the environment in Tokyo. So there's going to be another opportunity in South Africa to get warm weather. It's just, I think for me and the leadership group, it's about building momentum, not necessarily worrying about the results per se, because I think before Rio, we started playing some really good hockey, but we started playing our best hockey 2 weeks before the games begun, and then we didn't do so well. So it's about making sure we're moving in the right direction, but not getting carried away. But it's certainly going to be a busy few months ahead of us.
But being in a central program, it does mean that you have the opportunity to train a lot together.
Yeah, definitely, and it's definitely the strength of our current program. I live 10 minutes away from Beeston Abbey, so the amount of time that I can spend with the team and not having to worry about being stuck in traffic or traveling too much around the country is really important. So, and I'd say maybe 75 to 80% of the team all live very close proximity to the training camp, so that's a massive advantage. But it can also be a disadvantage if you're training too much together in the same environment. It can become very stale, and I think we learned some hard lessons off the back of the Rio cycle. The 4 years that we had there was very hard. Every single day was train as hard as you possibly can in the gym, on the pitch, and I think we just saw too many people lose, or they lost sight of the reason why they're playing hockey, and that's not good. So as captain and and the guys that are leading the program, you have to ensure that the day-to-day environment is one that like Austin was saying earlier about really enjoying what you're doing. I think that is so important, but also when you cross over that line, that training is purposeful. It does make an impact, and each day you can take a step in the right direction. And I think with centralized full-time program, you can see those improvements on a day-to-day basis rather than waiting 1 or 2 weeks or a few months. You can see the improvements day by day. So that is huge, but it comes with the risk of doing too much too quickly can be disastrous.
Yeah. What are your guys' team's ambitions for Tokyo? And besides that, what are your personal ambitions as well, Austin?
Yeah, something that we haven't really spoken too much about yet, because we still, I don't know, how big is your squad at the moment, Adam? Have you still got a big squad? Has it
Still
been cut
around,
down?
yeah, we're 26, 27.
Okay, yeah, we're still on 40, 45, I think we are.
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
So we haven't really cut it down to specific goals yet, what we're looking to achieve. Obviously, being the lowest ranked team, finishing anywhere, even if we were able to win one game in our pool, if we were to get to the quarterfinal stages, would be incredible. So I think something that we will end up discussing is how could we sneak our way into a quarterfinal, and then I don't know. I feel like in a knockout game, there's not anything is possible, but there's far more possibilities rather in a knockout game than there is in a pool game.
That's why we love
Perhaps
knockouts.
That's why we love knockouts. Yeah, perhaps you survive the first quarter and the opposition starts panicking, and you have that one breakaway. You know, who doesn't love a good underdog story? Is always my philosophy. Those are the things that we're going to discuss a little bit closer to the tournament. Personally, I haven't quite decided if this is going to be my last major event with the team or not.
Okay.
Obviously, depending on what the coach says, but
Yeah.
I would love to go to Tokyo and just have a great tournament and experience another Olympic Games, and to leave the field after the last game knowing that I was well prepared and I gave it my absolute all. And for everyone who's been supporting us along the way, saying, "Well, look, he still deserved his place. He hasn't gone past it yet. He's not too old, and he's still adding value. And it looks like he really gave it his all." I'd love to have that feeling in my heart after that final game.
Adam.
Yeah, it's something that we haven't also discussed in too much length, and I think over the last 4 years we've done a lot of work on it not all being about the end result, because I think if you get caught up too much in thinking about, right, we must win a gold medal, there's a part of there's the realistic side to it, but there's also you can get carried away in the emotions of that, and it takes away from your performances. So I think learning lessons from Rio, where we really wanted to go and win a medal, and we were quite to the point about that, made it quite obvious. I think it didn't do us any favors. So I think this time around, we just want to make sure that we're prepared, and we go out and on a game by game basis, we just give it everything. We've got a tough pool. Some of the top guys.
We have got a tough pool.
We've got a very tough pool. You're looking at world champions Belgium and the Dutch, Germany, and South Africa, Canada. It's that's 5 very tough games. So just I think as a goal would be to make sure that we're in that knockout stage. And I think because we're in a strong pool, those crossover games into Pool A, we might get a slightly more favourable route into the medal matches. So we just want to be in that quarterfinal knockout stage.
Yeah, and your personal ambitions.
Personal ambitions, being one of the older guys, still not too sure what life in hockey is going to look like after the summer. It could well be one of my last tournaments for GB in England, so it's going to be a very special moment. I think just really going, hopefully get selected for the games, and going and just really appreciating the moment day by day. What a special time it is in my life, and just go and give my all, really. And you never know what can happen. This is international hockey. Everybody can beat everybody. Sort of Argentina proved that at Rio, being ranked 7th. Maybe we're ranked 7th at the moment, so maybe there's a lucky omen there. Who knows? But anything can happen at this tournament, especially with the heat and humidity as well. So I think it's going to be down. Just being prepared and enjoying it. But this it's going to be a special summer for me, and hopefully the team.
If you guys could pick just one player from any team who will have a big impact on the game in Tokyo, who will it be and why? Austin.
Oh, I was hoping you'd ask Adam first.
Well, let me do you a favor, Adam.
Here we go. Obviously through my experience of playing for many years now, I've played alongside and played against many world-class players, I think. But the amount of time that I got to spend alongside Sevi at Rotterdam in 2017
from Holland.
Sevi Van As, yeah, I think I just I knew that he was a good player, a very good player, but then actually when I got to train alongside him, I just realised how special he was. His ability, his change of pace, over 5 meters is quite incredible. I'm not even sure if I tackled him once in training in the 10 months that I was there. But I know when he's really on his game and he's focused and he's almost unplayable. So I think if I could steal him or try and find out whether he's got an English grandparent, I'd love to have him in my team.
Yeah. And if you could pick one from your own team, who's going to have the most impact in Tokyo from your own team?
Oh, great question. There's a few, but I think the one that really stands out for me at the moment, and he's been nominated for the Young World Player of the Year, is Zach Wallace. At such a young age to come in and have some of the performances that he's done so already is staggering, really. He just has no fear. And I think there's some sort of arrogance, but not a bad arrogance behind him, that he just...
Confidence.
No matter who he's... Confidence, yeah. No matter who he's playing against, they could be... they could have won a World Player of the Year award. He just wouldn't care. He just wants to go out and win those individual battles. But for me, I think if we manage to get him in the right space so that he is confident come July and August for the Olympics, then he could be really dangerous for us.
Okay. Austin, did you have enough time to think about it now?
Sorry, I'm just taking down notes about players that we need to really watch out for there. Just give me a moment. Okay, I'm ready. Player who I would love. Can I bring someone back from the past, Ernst?
Yeah, obviously, no problem.
Okay, then I'm definitely going to put Jeroen Delmay in my centre mid position, and he's just going to dominate the game. And even when we're under pressure, we'll pass on the ball, he'll win a free hit. He'll just be transferring all day long. I can see it. He will fit so well on our team.
Isn't he playing on your position? Where would you play?
I can't reveal yet where I'm going to be playing, but I think I'm going to be playing at the back, and Jeroen's going to be playing.
What did you say on the bench?
Sorry?
Did you say on the bench?
Yeah, in and around the bench, probably. Remember, like right back. I think a good tactical tip there. Someone like that I think would be great. And if it had to be a current player, then a player that I've really loved watching the last few years. Just someone who I don't think any team can put under any sort of press. If teams try to cut him, he has a solution, and that's the Belgian centre-back, Arthur van Doren. I think, great player, and I've liked... I need to remember when I play against Bloemendaal not to get caught up in watching his actions and remember what I'm supposed to be doing. Just, really good player. On the ball, defensively, organisation,
Okay.
Top
and
player.
From your own team, who will make a big impact in Tokyo?
Well, one of our goalkeepers is going to have to make a really big impact. I'm not sure who that goalkeeper is going to be, but whoever it is, he's going to have to be in great form. We're going to need to flick well for penalty corners, for the corners that we get, and we're going to have to keep them out on the other side. So I think those are going to be two key positions for whoever fills those roles.
Okay, guys. Before you know it, Tokyo will be over. And I suppose you will return to club hockey. But what are your plans, or what will you do once your playing days are really over? Adam?
Well, this is a question that goes through any athlete's mind. Life after sport. There's so much help and advice and support available these days. So actually, within GB hockey, we have a lady called Emma Mitchell, it's her job to sort of look after life outside of hockey for the men and the women. So she does an amazing job, and she's been great for me. She's given me some advice, but I think my passion really is hockey. So life after hockey is probably going to involve still being stood on the side of a hockey pitch, albeit like just shouting instructions and trying to get the best out of a team. So I'm probably going to be a hockey coach. Got some things going on that could be quite exciting over the next couple of years. So it's I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, Austin.
Well, you see, this is the benefit of our environment, that we are already prepared for life after hockey with everyone's jobs that they've got going. I'm currently teaching 3 days a week at the international school in Eindhoven as a primary school teacher. So I think there'll be a good chance that I may do something similar to Adam, that I may do some coaching or just some training, something that I really enjoy doing, but definitely carrying on with my teaching. Depending what the mix is going to be between teaching and coaching, I may change my schedule to full-time teaching. But it's something that I've really enjoyed doing, and actually something that I think has benefited me the last few years, that I haven't only been concentrated on hockey, that I've had almost like a release after a weekend or after a big training block, that I can get into the class and think about something else and socialize with a different generation, something that I'm very passionate about. So I think something between coaching and teaching, that's what the future.
And would it be still in Holland, or would you go back to South Africa, do you think?
I'm not quite sure yet. I think it depends a little bit on what my girlfriend allows us to do.
I know your pain.
I'm sure. Yeah. So that's a discussion that we'll have. For the moment, it's going to be in the Netherlands. I did always have a dream of going back to South Africa and trying to make an influence on the teaching landscape there, like some of the teachers that I had in my life. But for the moment, it's going to be here in the Netherlands.
Okay, guys. Final question: how much of your playing career and playing success is because of luck, and how much would you contribute to other factors like determination or special abilities or something like that? Austin.
I think the one part I really think I was, really do think it was lucky that my dad came from England, and that I had access to a European passport. For South Africans to get over to play in the English League or any of the other, now I can say the English League or the European League, seeing that you guys have left us, Adam.
Or
to get over here to play in good leagues, something which is hugely important for South African players, is extremely difficult without a European passport. So I really do think that was a stroke of luck for my side. Besides that bit of luck, I don't really believe in too much luck, because you don't often see freak results in sport every now and again, but mostly the result goes to the players and to the teams that prepare well and put in all the hard work. So every now and again you do get a stroke of luck, but on the average, it's the players and the teams that work the hardest.
Okay, Adam, how much has luck played a role in your career?
It's very easy on face value of things to think that luck does play a big part, but the more you sort of unpick things, scenarios, key moments in your life, the more you realize it's not luck. It's something's been put there on purpose. So I think not a lot of luck. I think being in the right place at the right time has definitely come into play, but I guess my parents have sort of maybe forged those situations for me. Like, I'm thinking about selections for junior teams and things, but if it wasn't for my parents, all that hard work that goes into that, then I wouldn't have had those opportunities. But I think it's an easy word to throw around, but I think if you're really passionate and dedicated, those behaviors that add up towards excellence are not involved in luck at all. So it's something you sort of have to keep reminding yourself of and not getting carried away with. But Yeah, I know I've not answered that very well. You might have to edit this bit.
I'm not gonna edit it. It was a good answer. It was a good answer. You won't be edited here. I promise.
Okay.
Okay, guys. Thanks very much for your time here. I wish you all the best, both on your road to Tokyo. I do hope that you make the final selections and have a wonderful event in Tokyo. So, best of luck to the both of you, and thanks for your time.
Thanks for having us. Thanks, Ed.
Cheers. Thanks, Ed.
Cheers.
Thanks, Adam.